Hi cuties, my name is Tanaka and this is the channel Nerdy Nekoma. Everything here is about Haikyuuchat stories and fanfic. Thanks for joining us today. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. And with that, welcome to today's video, which is an extra part of the Pretend to Faint challenge featuring the ship TanaKiyoYachi. I hope you like it. Enjoy! Kiyoko sighed. She had paused picking weeds from in between the roses to observe her partners. The two of them were currently very invested in a conversation about Hinata's and Kageyama's last game against each other. Tanaka and Yachi were without a doubt Hinata's and Kageyama's biggest fans. Watching her two beloveds so interested and happy made her heart melt. It was such a beautiful sight, and she felt as if she was falling for them all over again. They both were special and perfect in their own ways, and Kiyoko couldn't help but love them. The two of them, Tanaka and Yachi, weren't dating, but they got along well, which was something she was more than glad about. Both of them were currently two of the most important people in her life, and she could hardly imagine what reality would look like without her chaotic partners. Even though their relationship was still pretty new. She had been in love with Tanaka for a while and knew that he liked her too. He showed it every day in a pretty loud and obvious way. Still, she never dared to accept that. Back then, this way of expressing his affection had intimidated her sometimes, and it felt too much to be real. By now, the constant noise and Tanaka's enthusiasm were normal, and she felt comfortable around it. Yachi was the complete opposite to that. Sure, she could be loud, but most often more in an uncertain and still very adorable way. Kiyoko enjoyed both. Tanaka's loud confidence and Yachi's reassuring silence. There was much more to both of them that she couldn't wait to unravel. After about 2 years, she had finally found the confidence in herself to believe that the younger man's feelings were genuine. It wasn't that she thought he had been lying, but ever since middle school, she got more and more offers like his. Most of them only saw her beauty and left after being rejected enough times. The team was no exception, particularly in the beginning, but sure enough, after a while, they all found someone else, someone they really loved. Surprisingly, almost always other boys on the same team. Even Noya, who could definitely be described as her second biggest simp, soon fell in love with the freshly returned ace of the team, Asahi. Kiyoko had been happy for them, very happy, but it wasn't enough to cover her sadness. Not because she liked Noya, even though he was surely a great guy, but because she liked Tanaka. And if Noya's feelings weren't as pure as he displayed them, why should Tanaka's be? However, in the end, everything had turned out great, despite some complications at first. Kiyoko was the one to confess, but she didn't think everything would turn out this perfect. Quite the opposite, actually. The former third year had been terrified of that moment, ever since she realized that she liked both. At that moment, she thought she was about to lose both of them. After several attempts of trying to just ignore her and therefore the feelings of the others as well, she knows she had to put an end to this. So that Tanaka and Yachi could move on, and maybe she could too. But instead, both of her crushes seemed just happy she felt the same, a little confused by the situation, who could blame them, but happy. It was Yachi who came up with the perfect solution, a polyamorous relationship. The three lovers all decided to give it a try and were officially a couple, well, two couples, for 3 weeks. Everything worked out perfectly. To be honest, when she heard about the challenge from Noya today, who planned on pranking Asahi, she got a little excited. She was curious how her lovers would react. Now was the perfect timing. Hey, Kiyoko, are you finished over there? What are you thinking about? Yes. She gave him a warm smile. Quickly, she put down the gardening equipment and walked towards the other two. Yachi looked adorable in her green apron and with little bits of dirt on her cheeks and forehead. Tanaka was the complete opposite, with his defined muscles clearly visible in the tight t-shirt. After a few steps, she decided to start the prank, making her movements a little bit more unsteady and wavering with every step a little more. Tanaka didn't really seem to notice at first, but Kiyoko could already see a concerned frown on her girlfriend's face. Kiyoko, are you alright? Yachi was interrupted by Tanaka, who suddenly stumped forward to catch a falling Kiyoko. He managed. Everything turned silent for a second as both of them were processing the information before they let out a scream of shock. Yachi started rambling incoherent words and phrases, trying to remember what she knew about first aid and information she saw on the television. But nothing made sense, or was even in a logical order for that matter. She panicked and her mind went basically blank. Okay, Yachi, calm down. She's okay. Tanaka tried to calm her down, unsuccessfully. How would you know? How would I know? How would anyone know? Oh, wait, doctors would. That's it. But where would we find them? She started going on and on. Tanaka watched helplessly. He had no idea what they were supposed to do, no more than Yachi did, which at the moment basically equaled nothing. Kiyoko, Shimizu, Yachi is completely losing it, and so am I. Could you please wake up? Do you think we should call Tsukishima? Why in hell should we call this salty know-it-all? Well, he's smart, right? So maybe he knows what to do. You're right, he is smart. But I don't like it when he knows everything better and all. If you like him or not, it's not really important. She stopped. A quiet laugh echoed through the room, and yet she was sure that this must be one of the most beautiful sounds she had ever heard in her entire life. Kiyoko couldn't help it, her body quivered with laughter. She felt a little guilty for worrying her beloveds, but the amusement predominated. It was incredible how oblivious they both, even the clever Yachi, could be. Kiyoko? Kiyoko, are you okay? Yes, sorry. She replied breathlessly, trying to contain her laughter. What? Tanaka looked at Yachi confused, but her expression remained just as clueless. Kiyoko, you were... Yes, I know. I'm sorry. It was a prank. Noya made me do it. Her tone turned apologetic. Don't be worried. I'm fine, Hidoka. Look. She sat up slowly and took Yachi's hand, caressing it tenderly with her thumb. Next to them, she heard Tanaka mutter something about talking to Noya with a dark expression. The former manager just smiled at that and reached for his hand as well. It was a simple yet reassuring gesture that meant, don't worry, I'm fine. It worked, and just a second later, she found herself in a tight embrace. I'm so glad that it was just a prank. Me too. The Ravenet answered and burst out laughing again. If I ever truly faint in front of you, I hope that someone else is there as well. Preferably Daichi Asuga. Well, we thought about calling Saltishima. Kiyoko laughed harder. And none of you concluded to call an ambulance. You know that there are doctors in the hospital, Hidoka, right? Both of their faces turned suddenly bright red. Oh, well. Right. Hospital. God, I love you both so much. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you liked it. This is admittedly one of my older pieces of writing. I hope you still liked it, but don't be surprised because it's not up to my usual standards in writing and use of vocab and grammar and so on and so on and so on. I still thought it was okay and that it fit pretty good in the series, so I wanted to share it on my YouTube channel with you. If you liked it, consider leaving a like because it really helps my channel grow, and maybe subscribe so you won't miss out on any future videos. And now have a wonderful day.